What's up everyone, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video, and today we are talking about Vespiquen. Now this Pokemon, it's not that great. I'm gonna give it to you straight, Doctor, it's not that great. But it does have some really cool things that it can do. First off, Dynamax Weakness Policy makes almost every Pokemon viable in VGC 2020. Not actually, but it does help a lot. Dynamax and Weakness Policy is very, very good for this Pokemon. You Dynamax it, you hit it with a super effective, not very much damaging move, i.e. something like Ice Shard, priority, not very much damage. You could also hit it with even something like Discharge that hits everything, especially hitting the Vespiquen, but then you might, paralyze yourself, which would suck a lot. But pretty much what I'm saying is you hit it with a super effective attack, now your attack is actually good. Because other than that, its offensive pressure is really, really low with 80 attack and 80 special attack. But after Weakness Policy, it becomes pretty solid of an attacker. And then Dynamax, it has really good moves like Max Flutterby, as well as Max Airstream, of course, as well. So, it has a couple of good tools at its disposal, which I like a lot. Overall, its typing is pretty bad. Bug Flying is really weak. We have 4 times weakness to Rock. We do have access to flying for Max Airstream, like Stab Max Airstreams, which is good, but 4 times weakness to Rock is really, really bad in a format flooded with Rock Slide users, things like Excadrill, Tyranitar. Tyranitar is one of the most used Pokemon in the entire game right now, so having that quad weakness to that is really, really bad. We also have, 4 weaknesses, 3 resistances, and 1 immunity, so overall, not a great typing. But you can make do. It's pretty okay offensively, but it's not very good defensively. And honestly, it's only like okay offensively as well. So the Pokemon lacks a lot in the current format. Our ability is not bad. We have Unnerve, which is okay, but we also have Pressure, which is also okay. Both are like playable, but nothing to write home about. As far as our stats, once again, just nothing to write home about. Nothing that's terrible, though, other than your speed. So we have our speed at 40, which is really, really low. It's on the same speed tier as Rhyperior, but that means you could use it viably as a Trick Room Sweeper. However, all of the setup stuff is going to be not really for Trick Room. So the Pokemon, it has a hard time setting up, and even when it's set up, it does mediocre damage unless you Weakness Policy it, but then it's, kind of in danger. As far as our stats defensively go, it's not bad actually. HP at 70 is like pretty, average, a little below average, but defense and special defense both at 102 is a little above average, not bad at all. So, we don't have a lot of offensive pressure, but we don't take too much damage except from that 4 times rock weakness. We're able to live things like Cinderace Max Bounce, or Max Airstream, and also even Max Pyro Ball. So it's not bad. We live some good attacks like Life Orb, Max Damage, that guy, Cinderace, and Dragapult. So it's not bad. Let's go ahead and finish off with the overview, and let's move on to the VGC set that we are going to be talking about. So as far as our VGC set, like I said, Weakness Policy is pretty good on this Pokemon. You do have some other options. You could even go Choice Band if you didn't want to Dynamax it, but that's going to be 1.5 times damage, which is enough to do like damage, but Weakness Policy 2 times is really, really good. Then we also have the ability Unnerve on this Pokemon. I think is better than Pressure on this Pokemon just because, Pressure isn't going to be really doing anything for this. So Unnerve I like a lot on this. As far as our moves go, we are running Attack Order, Acrobatics, U-Turn, and Protect. Now there's a couple of differences that you could change up with this. Of course, U-Turn being a big one, if we're going to be Dynamaxing it all the time, U-Turn can definitely switch out for either a coverage move or even like a an interesting move, something like Swagger, maybe even Dual Wing Beat, but I do want like another coverage move, so maybe Cross Poison will change up on that in the future. Cross Poison's like okay, Maxus is pretty good. And then, but yeah, Attack Order, Acrobatics, U-Turn, Protect. So we have Dual Stab, one move of choice, and then Protect as well, which seems to be the standard for attacking Mons, at least in my opinion. So I think that's pretty solid. Dual Stab, Protect, and U-Turn. Maybe we'll change that to Cross Poison. As far as the stats go, the EV spread, we want really basic, 252 into HP and attack, and then 4 into defense. I managed to live all of the physical attackers, like even super effective damage except for Rock, pretty easily with this spread. You're able to live a Cinderace attack, even with damage from your own Ice Shard, but not with the hail damage as well. So it's kind of spooky to use this Pokemon right now you have Cinderace, you have Tyranitar, you have Dragapult, a lot of things able to very huge damage with, potentially stab, max moves. So, it's a pretty in danger Pokemon right now because of its typing. Other than that, let's talk about some moves that we can use other than the moves that we talked about already. So we also do have Beat Up, which is notable for, especially for things like Terrakion or Cobalion, or Arcanine or Lucario. Justified. Beat Up Justified Pokemon are pretty cool, but this Pokemon is so slow that Beat Up doesn't really get anything unless you're under Trick Room. So that's why it's just a notable move. Then we also have Swagger, which is cool. Once again, self-swaggering combos, it doesn't really work with a slow Pokemon, but if you're under Trick Room, it can work, and also, under Trick Room, Swagger could work as well. Then we also have Facade, which gives us Max Normal, which is Max Strike, which gives us, some more speed reduction from our opponent, which is good, but, most of the time, Max Airstream is going to be better because we're affecting ourselves, but Vespiquen will go down pretty easily, so, maybe affecting our opponent is better off on this Pokemon. So, overall, not that great, but Weakness Policy is pretty cool, Unnerve is pretty good, and Attack Order is a really good move as well. Hitting high chance to crit, 90 base power, stab bug moves, pretty good. As far as our synergetic Pokemon, I have Alolan Ninetales here and Vanillix. Both are going to serve the same purpose. They both can set Aurora Veil, which is really good for damage reduction for Vespiquen, as well as able to set up with Ice Shard to proc our Weakness Policy with, speed. Just do that, which is pretty cool. We're going to faint pretty easily a lot of the time, but I do think that a lot of the time your opponent will probably just ignore Vespiquen, thinking it's going to do something weird, and then just Dynamaxes and hits really hard. So that could be, it's cool. We also, for our last Pokemon here, we have Porygon 2, which, sets Trick Room, which is good. It has Discharge, like I was saying, but you're probably not going to want to do that. That is the worst way to self-proc Weakness Policy, in my opinion. But you know what? It's not that bad. And, yeah. We went with Brave, zero speed into, or 0 IVs into speed, so min speed on this Pokemon. You don't have to, but it does hit 40 with min speed, which is the same as Rhyperior, so I don't really see much of a point to not min speed it. But there are a couple of things that you will outspeed by not min speeding, so you could just go with, Adamant Nature and then 31 IVs, hit 61 and not be, very slow, or hit 60 speed, I meant to say. Anyway, that is going to be it for Vespiquen VGC set. Let's talk about some speed tiers. So, as far as speed tiers, it's pretty, self-explanatory. I explained that we're on the same speed tier as Rhyperior, so we're down here at 40 with Vespiquen and Rhyperior. We are barely outspeeding things like Gastrodon, min speed, Hatterene, min speed, Dusclops, Torkoal, Ferrothorn, because they will always be min speed. Dusclops might not always be min speed, actually, so you might get outsped, but probably won't. We outspeed a couple of other guys, Conkeldurr, Snorlax, Clefairy, Quagsire, that's supposed to be Mudsdale, not Quagsire, and Vespiquen as well, if it's, not min speed, but you probably won't be seeing much for Vespiquen. Anyway, so, not a terrible speed tier to be at for a Trick Room Sweeper, Rhyperior is a very competent one, not in the format, surrounded by Rillaboom, but still, not a terrible place to be at as a Trick Room Sweeper. Next, we have Damage Calcs. So, as far as damage calcs, let's talk about them. So, we're going to kick it off with just a Ninetales Alola Ice Shard into it with Timid Nature, giving it minus attack, doing as little damage as possible, 9 to 10 damage, guaranteed 7 hit KO. After hail damage, you're only going to be hitting it once, so that's pretty irrelevant. But, the big point is 10.7 is the most damage you can do here, which is really good because the most damage that Libero, Life Orb, Cinderace, Max Airstream can do, while we're Dynamax, is 88.1%. So that means we do guaranteed live an Ice Shard and a Max Airstream from, the Cinderace. But the downside is we will then fall to hail damage if we get a high roll on both, which, yes, definitely sucks. So, up against the Cinderace, you're kind of scared, but it's not too bad. Next, we have Togekiss, Max Airstream, from a max invested special attacking Togekiss into our Dynamaxed Vespiquen, hitting 58 to 69%. Nice. Hits a guaranteed 2 hit KO, which is pretty good. But once again, we only hit that 10.7 damage at the most. So that plus 69 damage, or 69% damage, nice, from Max Airstream Togekiss, plus hail damage is not going to be killing us. So, in the face of a Togekiss, as long as they don't hit a crit, then you're looking pretty solid to be doing a lot of damage out with Vespiquen. And if we have, that cross poison, then we can hit max ooze on Togekiss for super effective stab damage, or just super effective, not stab, which is pretty good though. Next, we have some offensive calcs. I know that's kind of what you guys want to be seeing. I noticed one thing. I put Max Airstream here instead of Acrobatics. They do the same damage when you have no item, so you can use it, either way. But Max Airstream is what you're going to be wanting to go for. It's hitting 110 BP, which is pretty solid. So, damage. Let's talk about it. So, after Weakness Policy proc, that's the +2 there at the very beginning, we are hitting with Max Airstream into a Venusaur. 4 HP, Dynamaxed. We are hitting 112 to 132%, which is a guaranteed OHKO against Dynamax Venusaur, which is a very, very good calc to have. Venusaur is doing a lot of damage to us as well. It's also capable of sleep powdering us. So it's not the worst position, but not the best position as well. Up against that. Next, we have our Vespiquen with Weakness Policy proc, Max Airstream into Rillaboom. Pretty common set, just 252 HP, some defense. Most are going to have some defense, but I didn't know what calcs I should do for this, so we just went with 252 HP. But we are hitting 157 to 186, which is a lot of damage, so even if it does have a good bit of defense investment, we're going to still be taking that OHKO guaranteed all the time, unless it Dynamaxes. So yeah, we have a good matchup against Venusaur and Rillaboom, which is a really good thing to have right now because they're two of the top 10 Pokemon. So, a good matchup against those is really solid. And then we also have Max Airstream into the most defensive boy, Amoonguss. 252 HP and 252 defense. Even if it was bold or relaxed nature, we'd still be taking a guaranteed OHKO, which is really good. We're hitting 133 to 158, which leaves a lot of room for that Koba Berry, or for the nature. Now, a lot of Amoonguss are going to be running Koba Berry, and that we will not be able to take because, it halves the super effective damage. So if it is, Koba Berry, we're not taking out Amoonguss as an OHKO, which does suck, but it is what it is. Anyway, that is going to be it for our damage calc portion. Let's go ahead and move on to Single Spotlight real quick before I end off the video. So, Single Spotlight, this Pokemon did lose a lot of tools. It lost Roost, it lost Defog, which were, in my opinion, two of its biggest, things that it could do. In singles, which, singles is kind of weird, and sometimes you can still use weird moves, and I don't really get it why. So singles, if you can still use Roost and Defog, I would definitely recommend those to be on the set. But for now, we're talking about if we can't use it. So we're running Heavy Duty Boots, we're running Pressure. You can use Unnerve if you want to, but I believe berries are, much less used in singles, although it's still probably more worth than Pressure, especially since we don't have Roost, so you can't really Pressure stall at all with this Pokemon. But we do have tools to take down good Pokemon. We have Toxic Spikes, which is very good. We also have Toxic. You probably only want to use one of the two on here, probably Toxic Spikes, but I didn't know what to make Toxic. Maybe Attack Order, maybe Bug Buzz, something like that. But Toxic Spikes is good. We also have U-Turn for pivoting, which is good. We use Heavy Duty Boots so we don't get destroyed by Stealth Rocks or Spikes. It used to be Heavy Duty Boots plus Defog user, which was really good. Just take out all the hazards. Now we don't have Defog, so this Pokemon did take a really big hit on losing that move, and same with Roost. But, it's still kind of cool. We went with a very, very bulky EV spread, 252 into HP, 252 plus into defense, and then 4 into special defense. Not doing much damage with this Pokemon, but that's not really the point of this Pokemon anyway. This Pokemon lost Defog and Roost. So honestly, I don't think you should probably use it in singles, but if you want to give it a try, you can. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. In sum up, Vespiquen is not that good, but it does have some really cool tools. It has Max Airstream. It can be a good Weakness Policy Pokemon. It's actually fairly bulky with natural bulk. Not super bulky, but not bad. 102 defense and special defense is pretty alright with, accompanied with HP 70 and a Dynamax. It is not that terrible, but it's not that great. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, join me on Discord, follow me on Twitter, links in the description. Do all of those things. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. It's Friday, boys. All right. That was going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.